until Lash is back.
I usually do Warp Master and answer your question like half and half. I'll set up like maps and minis and stuff for big set piece fights, and then I try to do smaller encounters, just theater of the mind. We have a number of Portlanders that frequent this channel. It's fun stuff. Is Shadowclaw here today? Doesn't look like it. While Lolash is away, Flash Firestorm. I'm glad that he didn't realize that lightning bolts can hit like multiple people in a line. We're all lined up down that hallway.
Luckily, he targeted.
Yeah, no, hit the dwarf that was like standing off to the side instead of shooting all four of us standing down the hallway. It's good news. It could have been really bad.
Yeah.
Portlandians? I think it's Portlanders. Port. I don't know. We'll just call them weird people. Call us weird people.
So, I totally split my pants for like 14 inches at work today and wore a blanket as a skirt for like 3 hours.
In front of all your junior high kids? I bet that was fun for everyone.
It was right when they were leaving and before like faculty meeting and stuff. So like I saw all of them in the hall while I've got this blanket wrapped around me, and they just like, I'm weird enough. It was just they walked by, they're like, "Hey, your skirt looks nice, Mr. Weckert. See you later." Blah, and they just like took off. All right. So that was pretty funny. But so I have those same pants on, and my leg keeps sticking to my chair, and I'm like, "What? Why is my leg?" Oh, right. The hole is basically to my knee on my right leg.
Oh.
Awesome.
We were playing 5th edition Skizix. And I don't know the answer to your question, but Eversor is much better at rules than I am. He might know it.
Yeah, I'm actually playing a druid in another campaign. So I guess I'm not 100% sure what your question is. You get 2 shapeshifts when you when your animal form dies, you get turned back to human form. Your next turn, you could just use your bonus action to shapeshift again. That's at least rules as written, and that's what I assume is rules as intended. Do you guys treat that differently, Skizix? Yeah, Flash Firestorm.
That sounds about right. Hi guys, I'm back.
Oh,
welcome back.
Quick.
Yeah, my bed is not quite delivered yet. I've directed the delivery people to where they need to bring it, and I'm letting them do all of the heavy lifting and so forth. So I'm going to sort of be here, sort of not be here, but I figured I'd let you know what the perception check was for. What did we roll? 21 was the highest?
Yeah.
24 was the highest. Flick.
24.
Okay.
24.
So, Tabarin and Din, both of you guys actually notice the little slimy wormy things that were all dead don't appear to be so dead anymore. They have started wriggling again. Slowly,
Burn
but
them.
they're wriggling. Even the seem to be regenerating.
Babs, do you have that torch?
I uncork my cask and just dip a pinky in and do a quick... do I think this is flammable?
Roll a taste check, perception for me, please.
With advantage?
He really should get advantage as a
A
brewmaster.
taste check? I could probably... Yeah, I mean, like, how do I...
Probably
Perception.
just perception.
Okay, and should I just roll it with advantage or something for being so familiar with brews? Well...
Well, there you go.
Okay.
You're not super familiar with disgusting lizard brew.
But it does taste strong.
Well, we're going to go for some science. I'm going to just empty the cask on top of the maggots, and let's apply a torch to it.
Wait, I got this.
Oh, we have a dragon.
You've already emptied that? I've been waiting every night for a good time to do this.
Alright.
Time for some dragon's breath.
Alright, use your dragon's breath, mate. Roll the damage. Alright, delivery guys are nearly at my door. I'll be right back.
Oh my god.
Hey, 7 fire damage is probably enough to light a thing on fire
It is, but,
if it's flammable.
3d6. I guess it's...
Yeah, that's average. Like, exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Hey,
I wanted to be all impressive my first time, though.
That's what she said.
Sounds more like a typical dude thing to say, but...
So guys, I've been thinking what Din said earlier about those statues, the gold people in the treasure room.
Mm-hmm.
How we should have made them be dead snake fodder instead of me.
No, after thinking about what happened to the Naga, and perhaps they are alive and can't move. And I know that the water didn't work, but maybe that's because they're still touching other gold. But we also have that blue water that's left in that little basin that seemed to do more Healy, anti-cursey type stuff than just the plain water did.
That's definitely worth a try.
Okay, I'm back.
So
we got 7 fire damage into the pool of alcohol.
Okay, it bursts into flame. Brilliant, bright, flammable, alcoholic flame. And all the things get torched. And the flame burns out reasonably quickly, as it tends to do with an alcohol burn. Even though it was set on fire by dragon breath. But yes, you have managed to torch all of the little wormy things. What would you like to do now?
As you were on your way back to your seat, Tabarin was theorizing that perhaps the more potent but more non-renewable water would be worth trying on the golden people in the treasure room. So we were just coming around to going to try one more time to revive one of those statues, or all of them, depending on how much water we can fish out of that basin.
Binks and I will wait for you outside. I can't be in here anymore.
That's fair, Brig. We'll be right with you.
Okay, so as you are leaving the room, make a perception check for me.
Oh no.
They're invincible, but I have no idea.
Well, I'm focused on my goal.
Oh no, Flick, you let us down. You're our only person that can perceive things.
I had another goal in mind.
Now I regret not saying that we seal the door carefully behind us.
Okay, so you all wander off and don't notice anything untowards.
I think I just failed a spot check.
Where? Who is going where? So Brig is going outside.
I think all of the rest of us are stopping off at the fountain here.
Yep.
And then up to the treasure room to experiment with statues.
Okay. So you'll be heading all the way down the corridors, around down past the first angelic statue, down to the second angelic statue, then all the way back around into the Vump
Yep.
corridor and into the treasure room.
Yep.
That's the plan. Okay.
And we're probably walking pretty casually because we think we've cleared the place.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
when a
so-
massive pile of maggots attacks you at this little intersection.
All right. So as you continue to travel down, you get to the. So you'll all get to the room where, or the entrance to the corridor of silence, is where you're going to get to.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys did a recap after our break.
We did not.
Okay. YouTube will just have to deal, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all get down there, with the exception of Brieg, who I guess is
So
leaving.
yeah, so I'll walk with the party until we get here, and then I'm just gonna head out and sit in the fading sunlight or whatever. I guess it's past dusk now. Sit in the moonlight.
It is. Yeah, sit in the moonlight. Just remember you can't fight it. And... Okay, so who's going inside to get the water?
Probably
Tabern's
me.
carrying all the flasks.
I generally keep an eye behind us.
And I'll be very quiet
Good.
and go in.
Okay. You'll manage to get maybe 3 vials
Okay.
of this liquid.
Very quietly come back.
Okay, everybody else make perception checks for me.
I will not.
Ooh, a good one. Outshone.
Just showing off.
Well, rangers are supposed to be perceptive, right?
I was really sure after we killed him the second time, okay?
Okay. So, Babs and Harbeck, you hear a sloshing sound. And it's getting louder.
How much of that water did you pick up?
Okay, does it have a direction?
Yeah, from the direction that you had just travelled from.
So not from the fountain, but from the hallway.
Yeah, from the hallway.
Something squishy is following us.
How loud? I guess loud enough that we can hear it and other people can't.
Yeah.
I'm
It's still reasonably soft, but it's getting louder.
gonna push past people and run to the corner to have a look.
Okay. There is a writhing mass, and a mass is the correct word. It's about a foot deep and fills the corridor wall to wall, heading down the corridor towards you.
Go, leave.
reasonable
We're done.
pace.
Out. Out.
Maybe if
I
we
point at the
leave
door
it outside.
frantically.
Okay,
everybody out.
Okay.
Well, that was quick. Did it work?
No, we need to run. Out. Gone. Quickly.
We'll slam this door behind us, not
No,
knowing
wait.
if that's going to be
no,
useful.
No. Leave it open.
Open.
Yeah, if it comes out here, we can go back in and help the gold people.
Okay, but if it comes out here, there is a whole world full of people for it to.
We don't know what it does.
Fair enough.
By all appearances, it eats lizard people and then turns into a million squirmy evil maggot things.
I open the door and stand well to the side, hoping that this thing comes out and just leaves.
This is a terrible, terrible idea.
No, we always do Din's ideas. She has good ideas.
We've had some terrible ideas. This is probably the most terrible of any of them.
The gold coin
The
thing
sloshing
was
is getting
great.
louder.
It didn't work.
The snake didn't
It
move
was-
the whole time.
The
It was
snake
really
paralyzed.
easy to hit.
The snake paralyzed Din and blasted her in the chest with a lightning bolt. I watched it.
We're alive and
lived.
it's dead.
So has the
Do it.
writing mass made it to us while this discussion is going on?
Do it.
It's
You
getting
will.
louder. You
I'm
can all
gonna-
hear it without a perception check right now.
I am just gonna start climbing up the little switchbacky stair thing back up to the path above. I can't deal with this level of suicidal stupidity.
Is everybody in their appropriate positions right now?
Yeah, I'm at curiosity but safe. I hope distance. That's my goal.
I'm waiting to run into the door after it runs out. So yes,
You know, you don't have the water.
yeah.
Rotan's
Oh,
gonna
right.
be the first person who sees.
You kind of need to convince Tabarin to go with you.
Rogar's going to be the first person to see climbing its way up the stairs. It now basically fills the corridor floor to ceiling, wall to wall. And
Great
as
goo.
it reaches the the doorway and pours out into the ocean. You hear a shrill scream almost. And as each of the small, writhing, maggoty things makes contact with the ground, or with the seawater, it just becomes still.
All right, salt.
I start heading back down. I start heading back down the little switchbacky staircase and say, "I hate that worked. I hate that
worked." Okay, let's go try and heal some gold people.
Is the hallway clear?
The hallway is just... At the moment, as far as you can tell, there's no end to these things. They just keep coming.
The entire dungeon's just full, and they're just like...
The dungeon is just spewing slime maggots into the ocean endlessly.
Does anyone have an entrepreneurship idea that might involve a giant mass of slime maggots?
Maybe you could turn them into beer.
Well, if you... No.
Keep in mind that all of the maggots that you squished, burnt, and otherwise chopped into pieces apparently came back to life. Drinking them probably isn't a great idea.
It might give you eternal life.
What if... Does anyone have it? Did I bring the barrel?
Harbeck,
I've got an empty barrel.
it was a joke.
I'm gonna get one maggot.
No, don't.
The dead one from the ocean water.
Don't. It was a...
Put it in the barrel.
It was a joke.
And watch. Is it alive?
After a few moments, it springs back into action.
I dump it in the ocean.
Okay.
Those things are... That's not right.
Do you have any idea what we've done to the local ecosystem? Do you know what's going to happen to the ocean around here?
Well, it's going to fill up with maggot corpses.
Right, until the other fish start eating them and then they come back to life inside the fish.
And then the fish explodes and then there's just more maggot corpses.
Right. We're going to fill up the entire ocean with maggot corpses.
Well, we've ruined this planet. Let's go.
Next plane of existence. Yeah, thank you very much.
Is the doorway clear yet?
No.
What?
Ugh. This plan is taking forever.
How is it still possible to cross across this swell of maggot pile to the side?
Yeah, they're just dead.
Well, right, but I mean, at some point the volume is going to start making terrain impassable, right?
Well, how many of them are there?
Well, they're still pouring out the door.
There's a lot of them.
Forever.
Floor to ceiling, wall to wall maggots pouring out into the ocean.
Okay.
Can I prestidigitate some sort of small water cannon from the salt water into the hallway?
Like try and
Squirt
basically
some water at them?
Squirt the water.
Yeah, just get some sort of flow of water headed in there. With prestidigitation over and over and over.
I have a water skin. I could fill it up and then just squirt it in there.
Are you familiar with the picture of the guy throwing the bucket of water off his balcony into the next apartment that's on fire?
No.
No, I've not seen that.
Probably not going to be super effective.
We've got to find some other way. I want to get back in there.
They can't go on forever. Maybe they can. I don't know.
Maybe they can.
Flash firestorm.
You're a dwarf. Dig a new door.
Well, what I was thinking was we saw that flowing water inside, right?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Oh. Yeah.
Can we... I mean, we'd have to get back inside to do anything, but where was that water flowing to and from? Maybe there's another entrance? And so I was coming over here to start hunting for that.
So it was like behind these...
Behind that grate, yeah.
Behind that grate in that room.
From what you could see, it was basically like an underground lake under that grate. Like behind that grate, there appeared to be like an underground lake. There didn't seem to be any exit to like the outside cliff face or anything like that. So maybe the water like goes under the cliff face and comes up in an underground pool or something. Would be the only thing that you could think of.
Well, that's not a thing I'm going to explore.
I feel like we have to do something about this. I'm really quite worried about the effect that these, whatever they are going to have.
Roll an intelligence check for me, please, peoples.
Like an intelligence, just unskilled.
Yeah, just unskilled intelligence for me. Whoa! Bree with a 20.
I'm a very smart little frightened gnome.
Yeah. While thinking about... You're the only person who made it, by the way. While thinking about how to fix this problem so that the entire world is not overrun with these self-replicating, corpse-eating, leechy things of death, you realize that it's currently low tide. And the doorway is basically at water level. You're guessing that these things
We didn't stay in there long enough.
were put here for a reason. Because as the tide rises, it's likely that the passages below would fill with water.
Right.
I mean, you could
So we
you could
just
camp
help
on the
the
cliff
bad guys
face
win?
and watch and wait. Maybe.
So high tide comes, fills all of that cavern that we were just exploring with salt water, kills all these things. But then when the tide goes out again, some of them dry out and just pop back to life, right?
You would assume so, yes.
How do you... I mean,
And some of them wash out into the ocean?
typically, when something doesn't die right the first time, fire is the answer. And fire didn't answer these. Like, what do you... How do you kill what... We need to do more science. I pick another one up and put it in my barrel again.
And I'll cast Acid Splash on it.
It's quite loud. Not sure what that is. Alright, so you cast an acid splash on the one in the barrel that Harbeck has put in his barrel.
Yeah.
And do some amount of damage to it. It's dead anyway, but as the acid touches it, it does dissolve.
Entirely?
Yes.
So all we have to do is turn the ocean into acid, and then we can kill them all.
I mean, okay, let's do more experimentation. Dump out the acid. Get another one. And this time, like, on the top of the barrel, just smash it to paste with a rock. And then watch.
Okay, so as you smashed it to paste with a rock, and you watch, and you wait, on the moonlit ocean, the tide starts to rise. You do see the pieces of it slowly starting to pull together, almost like they're attracted magnetically to each other.
So, how are
Then
we
how
going
are
to get
they
enough
replicating?
acid?
Yeah. So if we just leave the one in the barrel for a while, like just give it a few minutes, clearly they replicate super quickly if they went from like, you know, a pile of a couple hundred in a corpse to enough to fill an entire 5x10 doorway.
Exponents are powerful.
Yeah, so let's see like how long it takes to replicate when you just leave one
Hey,
alone.
tide's coming in. Let's see up on the cliff. We'll take our one experimental maggot with us up to the cliff.
I have
Okay, so you...
I have another thought. I throw my last vial of pure water, not the blue, but the regular water, into the
the barrel?
mass.
Hey,
Yeah.
into the mass? Or
Into the
barrel?
mass.
Okay, into the mass. Okay, as the vial hits the mass and shatters, you see a whole bunch of them just evaporate. Just poof, into almost like light. They just evaporate instantly.
Well, that was a good experiment.
that's really handy to know, but we have to get in there to get any more of that.
We can get in when the tide comes back down, as long as we get in immediately.
We won't have much time.
So we're just going to sit up on the cliff face watching
How
the
good are you at
tide.
swimming?
Not great.
Don't ask the dwarf to swim.
Hey, he's a no armor dwarf. He only sinks like a stone instead of like a stone covered in metal.
I'm willing to wade. At medium tide, we can go back in.
As long as we go in when there's still any water on the floor
Hey.
in there, it should be sufficient, right?
Toe knuckles deep is my rule.
Hey, Rogar,
Yes.
remember when you got covered in that, or got a little bit of that black slime on you?
I do.
What did that seem to be doing? What was the effect?
Just made me feel unwell. Nauseated, as I recall.
Yes, that's how you felt.
And it kind of, was it spreading?
No, but it was sticking. I don't... As far as my character remembers. As far as I remember. Maybe my character remembers better.
It was spreading, but it was spreading very slowly.
Alright, so let's go sit on the cliff and watch the tides go in and then back out. It'll be very romantic. We'll eat some trail rations. And
Greg will sit at the top of the cliff, rolling his eyes.
when the water goes back down, we make for the pure water fountain, which we then just splash through all the hallways, hopefully faster than the things come back to life. Is that
We splashed through
is
the
that
hallway.
the working plan here?
Yeah, to get to the gold people.
I'm not
Why do we care
confident
about
in
the
this
gold
plan.
people?
Why do we care about the...
Something from this cave was magical enough to create that storm, and nothing that we found in here would have done that at this point.
Except maybe these unkillable maggot things.
I don't think we actually know that the storm came from here. It just came from this direction. You know, the storm blew in from the north.
I thought we figured it blew out from the cave, from the cove.
Well, that was our hypothesis, but it didn't really pan out, did it?
The hypothesis was based on your dream. Would you give us the details again?
There's not really much to tell. I dreamt that I saw a pair of angelic beings. It was peaceful. And all they told me was that I needed to get rid of the ear and explore the cave. We've done it.
We've met the angelic beings. I feel bad leaving their cave full of maggots.
Wait a second. I had another dream when I fell into the water, right?
You did, yeah.
I did not write that down. So they told me that we needed to, like, undefile, consecrate, whatever the other statue.
Which we
something
did.
like
Yes.
that. So we have done that also.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Yeah. Okay. That's all I know. We've got to do something about those crazy maggot things, though. That'll outright destroy the planet if we don't control it.
So
Okay, so you're sitting up on the cliff. You're
While
eating
we're on
your-
while we're on the cliff, why don't we try and find some other dead or kill some animal that we can take in there and have the maggot thingies go after, and we reseal them back up in the room.
I think they're all over all of the floors now.
But they came in as a mass.
We don't have enough brooms. I mean, like the worst case scenario. We need to be prepared for the worst case scenario, which is cleansing every hallway of 6 inches deep, shriveled, salt-watered maggot bodies.
We should run very, very fast to get to the gold people.
Which
Maybe
is,
they'll wash out with the tide.
I don't know that that's better. We want them where we can poof them with either acid or super water.
It really,
Or seal them in the cave.
I'm really quite concerned what effect all the dead. Well, I suppose if acid dissolves them when they're eaten, stomach acid would dissolve them. So if they're dead in the water, that's sufficient. When they're eaten, they'll be gone, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we don't know that fish will just eat dead things out of the water. They might
Yeah,
just
I think we do know that. I
too
think
gross for fish.
I think that's something we do in fact know. Fish
So
eat
you sit
dead
around a
things.
campfire discussing what you're going to be doing for the night. None of you get a lot of sleep. You eat a lot of trail rations. Brieg is panicking, wondering whether or not you've doomed the entire planet. Din is, petitioning for the easy option. Just seal the cave up. Problem solved. And so on
After we
and
get
so
the gold
forth.
people.
After we get the gold people.
After you get the gold people.
Oh,
Okay,
maybe
so
we can't touch them. I forgot.
you have to wait. You have to wait a full day. But after waiting, because you can only
'cause-
access a cave
At sunset.
at sunset. But at sunset, you head down the cliff face to return to where you were.
I have a
And
magic gold. Maybe we could draw the gold rags.
all of the maggot corpses that were in the ocean are gone. You can't see them. There's no maggot corpses in the entranceway either. And the water has receded to where it's like toe knuckle deep.
Okay. How about hallways? Are hallways full of maggots?
No, you can't see any maggot corpses anywhere.
Oh.
Yes.
Perhaps the seawater hit the magic water, and that somehow cleansed the cave.
Oh, where's the dude with the vials? I need.
So do you think that the door was sealed not to keep these maggot things in, but to keep the water out so they didn't die?
That seems
Maybe.
reasonable. It occurs to me that we haven't looked down this hallway to the left.
Which? Oh,
Right
Oh.
inside the door here.
Yeah, right at the start. I will let you know, Llama, it's just, there's a couple of tables there, some food on the tables, nothing fancy, it's just a dining room.
Okay.
now that food is wet. I'm confused
And now the food
about
is very wet. Yep.
Then let's go play with golden statues.
Okay, so you're heading back into the treasure room.
Breg is quite unhappy that you're taking him back into this damn cave.
Well, you don't have to come with us.
But he will come along.
And everybody's going back into the room.
Yeah.
Apparently, we want to be here
Well,
enforced.
some of us are going to be outside in the hall. We'll go in and not
Immediately.
overcrowd.
We'll go through one at a time so we don't stumble into anything.
I do not like that room. I'm gonna stay out here at the crossroads and keep an eye out just in case.
Okay. Alright, and you're going to use one of the 3 remaining vials you have of the proper, or the second angelic fountain's water.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're going to sprinkle it on one of the guys. So there's 5 golden statues in here that you can see. There's the robed statue that you tried to spread it on earlier. It's quite obvious that he's somebody who is knowledgeable in arcane magics. He's got a large leather-bound tome strapped to his belt. There's a couple of people who appear to be sailors of some descript, armed with weapons like a rapier and so forth. And then there is a woman who appears to be dressed in like town finery. She doesn't appear to be, an adventurer, more like a civilian. And finally, there is what appears to be a snake man. Or actually, it's not a snake man, it's an amphibian man. It's not like the ones that you've been fighting throughout this entire cave that are very snake-like. It's more amphibian-like, like the corpse that you found in the room.
I feel
Right.
inclined to help the common lady first.
Perhaps before we try that, we should make sure that they're not standing on any of the cursed gold or anything. If they just immediately contract the curse again, that would be
And that's why we
inefficient.
brought you in here with us.
Right. So I will carefully mage hand away all the coins from whatever statue we choose to try.
It is a long and tedious process. There's a lot of coins in here and a lot of other gold, small
We
gold
could
artifacts.
just tie
I
the
will-
magic rope around them and pull them off of the coins.
The rope, Din, is not magic.
We've had like 24 hours to try and explain this about the rope while we're waiting for the tide in the sunset.
Watch what happens right now. Do you see the gold coin? It's floating right now because I have magic picking up the coin. That's all that happened. I picked up your perfectly normal rope with my invisible hand. That's all that happened. All right?
Can I sneakily cast Mage Hand on her rope?
There,
Of course
you
you
see?
can.
I told
Damn it,
you it
Tamara.
was magic.
You're not helping.
But anyway, after much mage handy shenanigans, clearing away the gold, you've managed to make it so that you'd be able to sprinkle the water on this statue without them immediately being in contact with anything gold.
It might be a good idea to put the magic rope around them anyway, because if I were gold for a really long time and then suddenly ungolded, I might panic and flail about.
If they're still alive, like the Naga was, then
Then maybe they can hear us talking about roping
they
them.
would be grateful, and they're probably saying, "Why haven't you done this yet?"
Oh, okay.
One would hope that they've learned patience, otherwise
Oh.
they've been miserable.
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to pour it.
stand in a position to catch her when she faints.
I'll sprinkle it on that person.
Okay, you sprinkle the pure water on them. Nothing happens.
Oh, the blue water.
Go home now.
Hold
was
sounds
the blue-
great.
That was the blue water,
The blue
That
water.
was the blue water, yeah.
and the regular water won't do anything.
No, you've tried that before. And you are now one less vial of blue water up, which means you only have 2, I believe.
Maybe we should take them out of here, because maybe somebody has some magic that will ungold them.
Why don't we bring the magic back to them? It would be much more efficient than trying to carry 5, probably several £1,000 statues that if we touch them, we will be turned to gold.
All right, it's time to go.
That's it, I've had enough. We're leaving, now.
I think we were anticipated to finish this dungeon last time, and we have somehow used the entire rest of a stream.
Hey, it's all good, it's all good. So we're leaving the dungeon then?
Yeah,
Is the party in agreement?
Yes.
have we come to that
we'll go
point?
tell Rogar that attempts were ineffective. Let's go sleep in a bed.
Okay. So, you leave the cave, you head back up the switchback stairs that were leading down the cliff face. You get back up onto solid ground, slightly damp, and quite weary from your multiple adventures and stress and worry. But the journey back to town is uneventful, and you do manage to make it back to town with everything that you did manage to get out of that place. So, a quick recap of that: there's a small bag of gems, there's various resaleable goodies you got from the Naga chest, a pair of scimitars, a pair of daggers, an evil morning star, or at least a morning star embedded with the symbol that your cleric believes is evil. You also managed to collect 2 vials of pure water and 3 vials of... Oh, sorry, 2 vials of the blue water and 3 vials of pure water, I think.
Sure.
We had some books that were underneath.
I have 1 vial
the pure-
of the
the-
black water as well.
1 vial of the black stuff as well, yep. You also got the books that you rejuvenated in the blue water, which were written in a script that was unfamiliar, but you might be able to find something out about that. And you also had the lock box, the small cedar box that you found in the chest, which had the symbol of Serath on it. So that's all the stuff that you managed to collect from this particular adventure. And you've headed back to town weary from your first adventure as an adventuring party. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
Yay!
You are now back in town. let's move you back to town. What would you like to do?
I want to go check in with my innkeeper friend and his, and just meditate for a minute in his brewery and just kind of center myself and feel at home and calm.
I think that at some point, Lord Silverstar is going to make an appearance and give several rambling lectures to Din on the nature of evil and on magic and on a number of things that he has decided for no real reason that she needs to hear.
She will try to pay attention for as long as she can.
About 3 minutes per lecture.
That sounds about right.
Now, first of all, Din.
And there she goes. What about Rogar and Tabarin? What are you guys doing when you get back to town initially? Anything in particular you want to look into, look up?
I don't imagine in this port city there are any followers of Bahamut. That's probably pretty out in the same place my people are all around, right?
Yeah.
Like there aren't going to be any temples to Bahamut around here, I assume.
No, there wouldn't be any temples to Bahamut.
Then I would probably just do my religious thing back at the inn.
Okie dokie.
With any extra time probably spent relaxing with Hayberg. Harper, did I pronounce that right? Harbeck. I knew I had a consonant wrong in there.
And Tabarin, back in town.
Tabarin is thinking a way of making money off of things that he has with simple demonstrations. Obviously under some other disguise.
Assumed guys.
And basically I want to get more clear water in vials that's just regular plain water. And perhaps by the simplicity of dipping my pinky into the black liquid and people seeing what it does and then dipping it into the clear liquid and showing how it cures it instantly and using that as my pitch and sale to earn some extra money in selling plain water. Okay,
fair enough. So you're going to spend your time scamming people. Such a nice guy. That's
my de-stressor.
That's how he unwinds. Is relieving
how I
people
unwind.
of money they don't deserve because they're too dumb to keep hold of it.
You got to play that con, man. You got to play that con. Okay, well, you've managed to make it back to town. Everybody's sort of done their de-stress. They've done their hangout, their meditate, their lecturing, whatever it is that makes them. Basically makes them tick. And that night, you all return to the inn for your meal. You still have that room. It's a standing room. Harbeck's managed to organise for you at this particular inn. Since you've returned to town for the first time, you guys actually get to meet up and sit down and have a meal and discuss what happened. So, for the last sort of 10 minutes here, before we have to, unfortunately, end the stream, do you guys want to talk about what happened, what you have, what you want to do with what you have, what your plan is from here? Because you've obviously got some things that you've got to look into. You've got weapons that you might want to have checked out. You've got that box that you've got to decide whether or not you want to open. The books that you've got to read through. So, what do you want to do?
Well, yes. I think at dinner, I'll pull out the cedar box, set it on the table after everyone's done eating. This is the last bit of mystery that we can investigate quickly. Shall we have a go at opening this box?
I have a maybe Lord Silverstar is still around after his lectures.
Yeah.
I have a concern about this box. It seems to me that you all went to the cave expecting to find the source of a storm. Is that correct?
We may have had bad intelligence, but that was the intent with which we set out.
Well, if none of the things that you discovered in the cave created the storm, and this is the only remaining mystery, is it possible that upon opening it, we are going to generate another storm?
I suppose anything's possible.
Does that not strike you as a singularly bad idea?
Well, it would be a singularly bad outcome, but I don't think the probability's high enough to make it a risk unworth taking.
It's probably unlikely that you're going to talk the dwarf out of trying science, so you should just let him do it.
I think this is the wrong location for science.
Right, we need water.
Touché.
Can you think of a better location?
It might be safe. There may be people back with the Dragonkin who, followers of Bahamut, who may know how to combat something.
Is there
coming from this
anything?
enemy.
Is there anything in the books that we found in regards to this box that we've found?
We haven't had time to translate the books.
Or find anyone that speaks the language in which they're written?
Maybe a similar symbol in the book that's on this box?
The symbol is easily identifiable. It's merely a holy symbol of, or rather, unholy symbol of a wicked god. Is that not correct, Rogar?
Yes. So out of character.
Is it locked?
Is it locked? Yeah, there is a locking mechanism on it. You haven't tried to open it.
Okay, that's my question. I'm fed up with the conversation. I'm not going to wait anymore. I don't think what's in here is probably going to explode the tavern. So I'm just going to try and open it. And if it's locked and that stops me, maybe they'll have time to pull it out of my hands. But if it's not locked, it's open now.
Okay, well, it is locked. You see the dwarf go, to hell with it all, and grab the box and try and open it, and he can't open it because it's locked.
Well, if you're convinced that we're not all going to die upon opening that box, I'd be happy to help you with that mechanism.
The only other option is that we all die somewhere else. And we might as well die right now.
That's...
If you want to take a few steps back after you unlock the box, I'll open it myself.
That's remarkably practical of you. I will attempt to unlock the box.
Tabron gets up from the table, heads towards the exit.
Oh, come now, the dwarf does have a point.
You may not
Wolf and I
have
are
something.
just-
You may not have something to live for, but I do.
My wolf and I
Discovery,
are
my boy.
just-
Discovery is what I have to live for. So much to learn.
Alright, so the Thieves' Tool check is a 17. With a 17, you do successfully click the lock open. Who's going
Anyone
to be
else
the
want to step away?
No,
If I step back, I won't be able to see what's in there.
I open the box.
Okay, you open the box. Inside the box is a rolled up piece of paper with a wax seal on it. And the seal is that of the holy symbol of, or unholy symbol, religion. Tomatoes, tomatoes. The symbol of Sarath, the same symbol that was on the actual box itself. And there is also a small gold ring, and inlaid in the ring. So there's a small gold ring, there is a really bright silvery inlay on the ring, and there is a large blue sapphire set into the actual ring itself.
The wax seal on the scroll lasts about 3 seconds. I probably don't even see the ring. I'm just ready to read what's on this scroll. I just pop it open and start reading the paper and slide the box to other people to check the rest of the contents.
That was somewhat anticlimactic, and I'll reach in and pull out the ring to take a closer look at it.
Okay, so the scroll you can't read, Llama. Harbeck
Well,
does not recognize the script.
does it match the books?
Does not match the books, no. It is
Fair
a
enough.
different script.
I show it to Rogar because it's probably lizard language.
Whoa.
Lizard!
Lizard language is nothing.
You'll notice I said that without Harbeck's accent, so that was internal.
Okay.
And you are not horribly offended by my terrible racism.
Okay, so you pick up the ring. Eversword, do you want to roll a Arcana check for me, please?
Certainly.
And Rogar, you recognize the form of the script. It's definitely draconic in origin, but it is not a script that you are familiar. Like, you can't read it, you just recognize the style of the language. It's like if you were trying to read Japanese written in English and you were an English native speaker. You recognize the symbols, the patterns, the forms, but you don't recognize the language itself.
Hey, I was right.
We all try to racism internally.
That's the best kind of racism.
Yeah, I think it's close to impossible to not racism at all. But as long as you can only racism internally, you're doing pretty well.
Hey, for a
Way less
dwarf,
likely to
keeping
get
your
punched
racism
that
internal is pretty strong work.
Okay. Brieg, some of the inlay, the filigree on the band of the ring, is definitely representative of arcane symbols.
Fascinating.
Well, we've got a paper we can't read, and a probably magic piece of jewelry.
Didn't fall
perhaps-
asleep at the table.
There's someone else in this party that has some sort of magical inclination.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Tabarin, we didn't blow up.
Ah, yes.
I'll find my way back to the table.
I recognize a few of these symbols, but perhaps you might have better luck at
Let me
determining the ring's purpose.
let me see here. 22.
With a 22, you don't recognize it. Like, you look at it, it's like, yeah, it's arcane. I can see that it's arcane, and there's something inside of you, something that says, I know what this is, but you don't recognize what it is.
Do I
This-
get a
this-
sense of I know what this is good, I know what this is bad?
Only that it's arcane. Yeah, something within you stirs, and you're like, I know what this is.
Well, always curious. Should I offer up a finger? What do the experts at the table think that risk is worth taking?
No.
It seems unlikely that the ring will do
Everyone
anything.
stop talking. Just quiet for a second. And y'all notice Tabarin's concentrating very deeply.
I'll sip some of my ale.
This is what we were looking for. This ring. He glazes over again for a second.
Yes, out with it.
Tabarin slips it onto his finger.
As
We're
Tabarin slips the
waiting.
ring onto his finger, you notice him fade. Almost like he's... It's not like he's disappearing, it's not like he's, teleporting somewhere else. He just sort of fades, and then is gone. And that is where we're going to leave this session for tonight.
Awesome.
Because it is 2 minutes to 3.
All right. If you are watching this on YouTube, if you somehow found us without knowing about the Twitch channel, do come check out the Twitch channel. We will update you as to when the next D&D session is happening and when you can expect more videos. If you're watching this on Twitch and you missed any part of it, it will be showing up on YouTube over the next week or so. We, once again, failed to schedule the next session before the session.
Oh, we're so good at this.
Because we were too busy talking about whatever we were talking about while we were waiting for the timer to count down.
I'm good at any time, as per usual, so I guess we just boil down to basically Din and Rogar when family commitments and work commitments are good for you guys. 2 weeks' time? Maybe?
2 weeks probably works for me, yes.
Okay. The Friday or the Saturday?
Either one.
Let's do the Friday.
Okay.
I'm completely fine.
I think maybe my mother-in-law is in town leaving on the Friday, and I'm not sure at what time. So I'll double check that and email everyone.
Let's pencil it in for the Friday, and just come watch the channel, and we'll let you know if it has to move to Saturday, and we'll email and stuff.
Either way, we should be looking at in a fortnight on this Friday or Saturday.
Yep. Either the 13th or 14th of March. Hoping for the 13th.
Yes.
Thanks, Modest Ponage. And thank you for watching.
This was a ton of fun. Congratulations, guys, on your first dungeon here and getting through the whole thing. You'll find that my dungeons are a little bit lengthy. They probably will take a session or two, but there'll be lots of content, lots of fun things to do in there. I hope you had fun. I will let you know now, you have earned enough experience for a level up.
Right.